What's up, guys? How's it going? Hey, I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and YouTube is always suggesting these videos of these Nashville guitar players. And what really bugs me about it is they all come from the standpoint of, I'm a pro. Listen to me. You're an amateur. You're nothing. I know what I'm doing. You don't. Learn how to get this sound from a pro. Learn how to use this effect like a pro. This is what a pro uses. And I hear this and I just go, what? This one dude dialed in this sound, right? This is a sound that you want to get. It was so bad that I actually commented, like, dude, I don't know if I'd recommend that sound for anybody. And he even said something like, yeah, it seems odd, but it's great in the mix. Sits well in the mix. What kind of mix are you talking about here? So you're talking about a mix with a steel guitar, with a fiddle, with another guitar, with the bass guitar and the drummer? What are you talking about? This is the problem with these pros. What kind of mix are you talking about? In a three-piece band, that mix was garbage. It wouldn't sit in the mix. It would be buried in the mix. It wouldn't sit in the mix. It would be absolutely destroyed, buried in the mix with the three-piece band. You couldn't use that sound in a three-piece band. So what are they talking about? This is my problem. And you listen to these guys, and I'll tell you who the biggest one is. Who the biggest one is in terms of a cult following on YouTube. It's Tom Bukovac. Okay. He has these people that follow him around, the homeschoolers that follow this guy around, and anything this guy does, they think is from the mouth of God. Like, there's no questioning this dude whatsoever. It's like, if Tom says this, then yeah, that's it. And I go, well, yeah, he's not really that good. He's just slightly above average. No, you suck and you're horrible and you just, I mean, the insults that come at me from these guys, they can't even argue the point that I'm making to them. Okay. They can't even argue the point. I've been playing guitar for 40 years. I've been playing guitar longer than some of these guys that are capping off have been alive. And that's not a joke. That's real. I taught guitar for 6 years. I taught 40 students plus a week, over 40 plus students a week for 6 years. I've seen tons of guitar play. I've played every style you can think of. I know when a guitar player is good. Like, I know. And Tom ain't that good. He's slightly above average because he's got a lot of experience. Otherwise, he would just be average. If it wasn't for the experience that he had, he would just be average. Anybody could do it. And that's my challenge to these guys. My challenge is, look, take anything Tom has ever played on any major recording and try to play it, and you can do it. Any intermediate guitar player can play anything Tom has ever played on any major recording he's ever done. That's factual. That's factual. It's like this. Check this out. This is one of their arguments. Well, he's played on so many recordings, therefore he's great. He's played on a lot of recordings, therefore he's great. First of all, we don't know how many recordings he's played on. Yeah, and you don't know what he did on there. He could have literally played, they might say, hey, Tom, we need a note, just an open string E at the beginning of the chorus. Boom. That's it. So he goes in and he goes, okay, here, boom. That's it. Check. Good. We're done. And then they just cut it over. He didn't play it more than once. He just plays it once and they cut it over. That's what he did. You don't know. You don't know. He could have ended up on the editing room floor. He himself has said that the credits are given by these assistants who write that you were there. So he could have been in the studio and he could have played a part. And when the producer comes in with the artist, they go, you know what? That part, that's too much. Take it out. And he could never even be on the recording and get credit for it. So you don't know what he did, okay? But let's just say, so their argument is he's played on a lot of recordings, therefore he's great. That's their only argument. That's one of their arguments. So let's see here. You look up his credits. Some say 1,200, some say 1,400, some say 900, some say 600, some say 1,500. So let's just go with 1,600. And I've never questioned the guy's work ethic. 1,600 it's a lot of credits. 1,200 is a lot of credits. 600 is a lot of credits for the studio. Okay, let's go with 1,600. Okay, a lot of songs. Now you have to get in there to see what he did, and that's why I say he doesn't do anything in there that's that impressive in those 1,600 recordings. Let me put it to you this way. Here's a guy over here. He's cooked 90,000 meals. 90,000 meals this guy has cooked over here. Okay? And here's a guy over here that's cooked 30,000 meals. Who's a better chef? Using homeschooler logic, using Tom's Bukovac logic, the guy who had 90,000 meals, he's better. He cooked more meals. He's better. Just like Tom. Well, he's played on all these recordings, therefore he's good. He's played on more recordings than anybody, so he's good. This guy's cooked more meals than the other guy, so therefore he's must be better. Well, the guy who cooked 90,000 meals works at Denny's. The guy who cooked 30,000 meals is a 2-star Michelin chef. So who is a better cook? It doesn't matter how many meals you've cooked. It literally doesn't matter how many meals you've cooked. It doesn't matter how many recordings Tom's has played on. It's no mark of how good you are, how many times you've done something. Is no mark of how good you are at it. Nothing. Zero. Having said that, Tom is a short order cook. Tom is the short order cook of a guitar. He can cook eggs. He can cook pancakes. He can cook bacon. He can cook waffles. He can put pre-made waffles into a toaster. He can take a pre-mixed pancake, cut open the corner and put it on a griddle. Yeah, Tom can do that. And he can do it well. But there's nothing to it. The short order cook doesn't do anything that really complex, do they? That's Tom. The other thing is that I really take umbrage with these Nashville guitar players going, I'm a pro. Look at me. I'm a pro. Do this and quit being an amateur. Quit being an amateur. You're an amateur. I'm a pro. Is the recordings, the songs that they're playing are absolute garbage most of the time. And I'm not insulting the people that listen to them. If you want to listen to, Morgan Wallen, whatever you want to listen to, I don't care. Like, I have no opinion about you listening and enjoying anything. But from a technical standpoint, when you get me from a technical standpoint of analyzing these songs, how hard they are to play, how difficult they are, the song structure, the chord patterns, the voicings, the instrumentation, I know a lot about this shit. Okay? I know a lot about it. All right? So if I hear a simple song, I go, well, that's pretty easy, man. This is 3 chords in it, I'm a pro. I'm playing this song. You're playing a 3-chord song, dude. It ain't that difficult. Anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. You just happen to be in Nashville. And this is the thing. They're in Nashville playing this. You and I aren't going to be in Nashville. I don't live in Nashville. How many other hundreds of millions of people don't live in Nashville that are never going to go to Nashville? Right? So why would you care what they have to say about what they did in Nashville? It makes no sense to me. Why would you even care? Why would you care what someone did as a pro in a studio in Nashville? And these pros, they're getting these jobs and they're playing this real simple stuff, absolutely basic garbage. You know why? Because you can't be inventive in the studio. You can't be creative in the studio. You can't be cutting edge in the studio. You can't be original in the studio because that costs money. That takes time. And the guys who are putting up the money don't want that. They want this recording done as quick as they can do it for as cheap as they can possibly do it with a good product. That's where Tom excels. He can play the easiest stuff known to man. He can play it and get it done and get it out like that. That's what they're looking for. So you can't go, and this not just for Tom, but any one of these studio pros. You can't go, hey, how about we try this? We put a double chorus on this, but then we reverse it with the reverse flange. And then what I do is I put a backwards reverb on it. And what that's going to do is it's going to get this real cavey type sound, but it's going to come to the front because of the flanger. You want to try something like that? They're going to go, no. We don't have time for that. Can you just play the G chord? with no chorus on it, no flanger, and I'll add the flanger later if I need it. Okay, you just want me to play a G chord? Yeah. Okay, there you go. I'm a pro. I just got paid for playing a G chord. I'm a pro. You're an amateur. You're nothing. You don't know. You think that a Nashville pro plays a G chord any different than you? Do you think that? Do you think a Nashville pro plays a D chord any different than you? I'm here to tell you they don't. Okay. And in the studio, they can't experiment. They can't be cutting edge. They can't be original. They can't do anything exciting in the studio. They have to keep doing the same thing they did. You know why? Because people who are putting up money don't know what is going to work. The people who put up the money only know what did work. So if it worked last time, what are we going to do this time, people? The same thing. And I can't blame them. They're putting up money. They're putting up a lot of money for some of these recordings. So I can't blame them. But think about it. They only know what did work in the studio. They don't know what's going to work. They don't know if the double chorus into a flanger, into a reverse reverb is going to work or sound good. But they know last time when they played a G chord like this, it 2 million views. So what are we going to do? We're going to play a G chord like this. That's it. That's why I call Tom Mr. Generic, because that's all he does. And all these Nashville guys do. That's all they do. They play the same thing over and over again. That's why every song sounds the same coming out of Nashville. It always has. Listen to the eras of Nashville. They all 90s Nashville sounds the same. All 2000s Nashville sounds the same. All modern Nashville sounds the same. They all sound the same because they know what worked last year and they do it this year. And then they're going to do it again next year. And they're going to do it again next year. And then a little tiny something's going to creep up. Somebody who did try to take a chance is going to creep up, and that's going to become popular. And they're going to all do that. But when you're putting up big money, you don't have the time to experiment. And the other thing that I have to say about these Nashville players, right, is first of all, some of them are good, like hands down. Like there's some guys out there that can rip. Tom ain't one of them. But they're a very specialized organism. They're very special. Playing in the studio, imagine this. You have a bow and arrow. That's your guitar. These Nashville players, Tom, whoever, Tom especially, they're specialized. Playing in the studio is like taking a bow into an indoor archery range. You have an atmosphere controlled. Your atmosphere is completely controlled. In other words, like there's no outside sounds. There's no, your amp can be isolated. They have the mic exactly 1 centimeter from the speaker. That doesn't sound good. They put it at 2 centimeters, whatever. It's an atmosphere. It's a controlled atmosphere, right? Physically, too, it's air conditioned. It's heated. It's comfortable. And you take your bow, and you can take as long as you want to line up a shot. You can sit there and line up your shot for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. You can take the shot at a static target. The target doesn't move. The target is a certain distance away. You know that this is 50 yards, 25 yards, whatever. You know how far it is. It never moves. Your target never moves. It's stationary. And then you get to shoot over and over again. And you never lose an arrow. Your arrow is right there. You can shoot it over and over and over. You can take shot after shot after shot after shot until you get it right. That's the studio musician. Okay? Now here's the normal musician. You're out in the wild hunting a boar. This is what a normal musician does. A live musician, a guy that just plays guitar. This is what you're doing. You're out hunting wild pigs. Notice you have the same type of setup, same bow and arrow, compound bow and arrow. It's just you're outside. You ain't inside. It could be raining. It could be windy. It could be hot as hell. It could be cold. It could be too much humidity, whatever. You have to deal with it. The target that you're shooting at, it's moving. First of all, you have to find it. You don't even know where it is. You have to go looking for it. Then when you do find it, it's not going to stand still for you. Okay. It might stand still for a minute, might stand still for a second, might stand still for 20 seconds. We don't know. And it could move at any time. So you could line up your shot, you could have it perfectly lined up, and that thing could move. So you're shooting at a target that you got to find, it's moving, you don't know where it is. You got your terrain. Look at your terrain. You got to walk over branches. You got to walk over weeds. You got to walk over sticks. You got to cut through brush. It's not just an open shot with no obstacles in the way. That's the difference. But you're both using a bow and an arrow. That's the guitar. So the studio musician is using the same guitar you are, Stratocaster, Les Paul, same guitar. It's just you're out in the wild. That's the difference. So why are you taking advice from a dude who's sitting in an indoor archery range? Why are you taking advice from him when you're going wild boar hunting? This is a studio musician. Why are you listening to these guys? You aren't going to be in Nashville in a studio recording anything. And then secondly, let's just say you said, well, I record at my house. Okay, great. How often? How often do you record? Like, really? How often do you have a mic on your guitar cabinet or your guitar plugged into a recording device that you're playing? How often? How much percentage? Let's say, for instance, you play this much, right? What a percentage is it that you're being recorded? It's very small. It's incredibly small. The amount of time that you spend recording is minimal. The amount of time that you're going to spend playing is a lot. It's a whole hell of a lot. You're going to be playing a lot of guitar, and you ain't going to be recording that often. So why are you listening to this dude whose whole life is built around being in this studio, being in this indoor archery range? That's his whole life. His whole life is built around that. Why are you listening to him when you ain't ever going to be in there? You're not going to be indoors. You're not going to be in a set environment. You're going to be outside hunting a wild boar. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you next time.